planted my garden and my original strawberries. That's great.
I'm not going to get raspberries. They all love it. That I don't I have very fond Don't forget to write a question.
I can just, shout out
Last year you said something to me. You said if you understand me, I'm approaching in 71 and a half. Look at us in the second row. We're like sitting down here. No, thank you. I already did Christmas. I said one word wrong. I said,
Good morning, everyone. You all are amazing. You came in, these bundles of energy. You greeted, you connected, you settled in, and then suddenly you collectively looked at me and said, it's time to start. The room got quiet. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you're here today. I'm glad I'm here. Let's sing together as a way to sort of continue to align ourselves. On page 17 in your songbooks, I love that those of you who are regulars have your songbooks in hand ready for me to tell you the page number. Anxiously awaiting, page 17. If you happen to open your book and page 17 isn't there, just get another book. May we let our light shine, page 17. May this place that we've entered be filled with love. May the hope that's within us guide the way. May the joy that we find when we gather together remain within our souls, and may we let our light shine. This place that we've entered be filled with love. May the hope that's within us guide the way. May the joy that we find when we gather together remain within our souls, and may we let our light shine.
Good morning to everybody here and watching from online. We are so glad to have you here. There is an energy in this place, and I'm thinking we should probably have a sign at the door that says something about enter and get your weekly vitamins, because this place is what gets me back on track. And what it does is it calms me and energizes me at the same time. And I find that to be really extraordinary. So I'm a member of the Leadership Council, and we have so many announcements. First of all, there are so many people behind the scenes who are doing so many things to make this a special place. If you eat Donna's deviled eggs, you'll know what I'm talking about. Pretty wonderful, and we thank all of you. We are going to have a new member Sunday coming up. And if you're interested, mark your calendar for June 21st to chat with Rev Gayle. I can tell you that it's sort of like getting married, you know? You just feel so much better when you've really taken that step and committed and said, this is really important in my life. It has a different feeling to it. There's a new website which has been launched. Also, thanks to Rev Gayle, who has been really busy. She wants us to test it, let her know the things that don't work, and let her know the things that you love, of course. We have an insert, thanks to Heidi, which we want you to take with you. It gives you the dates of the coffee with Rev Gayle so that you can sit with her at Wild Beat on Saturdays in June, July, and August and know ahead of time what those dates are. And also an emergency prayer number, which we think maybe you want to put in your phone and hopefully you'll never need. But it actually was something that came up in an experience I had, and I wasn't quite sure who to call. A couple other things I want to tell you about that are exciting. The first is we're going to have our annual barbecue on Sunday, July 12th. We'll have details probably by next Sunday on how we're going to do all of that, but it's going to be good food and good music and good friendship. We are having a retreat in August, and there is one spot left for that retreat. There are details on the bulletin board in the fellowship hall. And finally, breaking news, RL is going to be doing the entire service the last Sunday of July. We aren't sure what that's going to look like, but I will.
Not.
He only consented about a half hour ago. But here's what I think. I have watched RL play and sing for a lot of years, like most of you have. And I think that I always thought we should start a kitty to see what Sunday he levitates and leaves the piano bench, because I know it's going to happen. And my prediction is it's the last Sunday of July. Stay tuned for that. And now let us do our affirmation. For those of you here, it's on the insert to your bulletin. I embrace myself with love, open my heart, and allow my life to be a blessing.
Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, RL. RL, I don't know how many of you noticed, and I don't know if this goes into my 4 minutes that I get, but I don't know how many of you noticed, but that was an original R.L. Rousey tune that we sang. And I'm wondering, are you on vinyl anywhere?
Not yet.
No?
No.
No streaming devices?
No.
I can't play you in my car at home?
Sure you can. All you have to do is go back and watch the past services.
Oh, well, I think we need to amend that. We need an RL album. I mean, I have one, a Burl Ives album at home that you kind of, yeah, it's kind of like that. All right. Well, that's food for thought, or thought for food, either way. So my name is Tom Poole. Welcome to all of you online and here in person. Thank you for joining us today. It is my pleasure to be with you. And now it is time to go within. Please close your eyes if you're comfortable in doing so. Notice your breath as you relax. Become aware of the life-giving breath that you take, each inhale and each exhale, remembering to smile as you do so. I invite you to release any physical, emotional, mental distractions as we enter into that still, quiet place where we connect with Spirit. And as we gather together, I recognize the presence of the Absolute, the unobstructed life force, the one note that is sung throughout the cosmos, the energy of the Creator in action, come as all things. This is the light that animates us, that connects us to each other and all of creation. I know this truth for myself and each and everyone who hears these words. It is from this grace-filled space that I give thanks for this beautiful, perfect spring day, this community of faith, for Rev Gayle, for RL, our leadership council, my fellow practitioners, and all who contribute to the highest energy that lights the way here at Light on the Mountains. So let's open ourselves, our hearts and our minds, to the words that are spoken and that are unique to each of us as we all resonate in our own way. And with deep gratitude and joyous thanksgiving, we affirm together. And so it is. So as is my routine when I'm speaking or practitioner, I try to give myself time to find something appropriate to speak or a reading, in this case, as a practitioner. And I looked up what chapter the study group was on in the book that they're studying, and it was on, the subject was sexuality, human sexuality. And I don't know if you've read Gayle's blog, but I'll let her describe her reasons behind not wanting to go there. But I'd already gone there. So my reading is, I in my practitioner training, we obviously, this is something we studied, something that was brought up in our trainings. And more specifically, the training was about energy itself, which we all are energy. Everything is energy. And the masculine and feminine energy that resides in each of us. This has nothing to do with your gender or your choice of gender or lack of choice of gender. It's about the feminine and masculine energy that resides within each of us. And it's a fascinating study, maybe something that we can look into in the future. But this is called the sacred yes of the body. There is a wisdom within me that is older than thought, deeper than belief, and more honest than any story I've ever told myself. It lives in my body, not as something separate from spirit, but as spirit expressed, breathing, sensing, feeling, alive. I don't deny this life within me. I don't turn away from these currents of energy that move throughout my being. For what I have called desire is, at its essence, the movement of creation itself. The same force that opens the flowers to the sun, that pulls the tides towards the moon, that gives birth to the stars and silent galaxies. This life within me is not wrong. It is not broken. It is not something that needs to be hidden or feared. It is sacred. And I honor it now, not as impulse without awareness, but as energy guided by love, expressed through wisdom and held in reverence. I embrace my humanity as part of my divinity. I embrace my body as a vessel of spirit. I embrace my sexuality as one of the many ways the infinite knows itself as me. There is nothing inside of me that is outside of God. There is nothing in me that needs to be rejected in order to be whole. And so I say yes. Yes to life. Yes to embodiment. Yes to the sacred union of spirit and form. So it is. I still feel odd not doing that affirmation thing.
Good morning, everyone. I have a feeling that Marcia and Tom are vying to be my manager. I might need one. Oh my gosh, it's good to be here with you all. I flew back in last night. I flew out on Monday afternoon. Never fly in the afternoon. Got on the plane, headed out. Everything was lovely. Thought, wow, we're taking an odd route to get to the runway. All of a sudden, I realized we would come back around the loop and we're parked in one of the little side areas. And the pilot came on and said, folks, I've got some unfortunate news. There's storms in Denver. They've shut down the entire area. Bad storms, hurricane, tornado warning. Shouldn't be long. It was long. It was very long enough that we went back to the terminal and deplaned. Got back on the plane, getting ready to leave. He said, they've extended it another 45 minutes. Well, by now, because at first I thought, they're closed, so I'll make my connection. Then I realized I wouldn't, so I changed. Fortunately, there were 3 more flights in the day that were all going to where I was going. Changed to the next one. I ended up on the last flight. And once we sat on the tarmac in Denver waiting to get off the plane for 40 minutes, I ran to my next plane. Was the last person to board the plane. It was 2/3 empty, but I made it on the plane. Figured lots of other people didn't make their connections either. Went to sit down, and this lovely lady said, "Sir, would you like a complimentary upgrade to first class?" I grabbed my bag and ran again. Settled in, was all set now to arrive at 12:30. We arrived at 1:10. Sat on the tarmac for another 40 minutes. My rental car company closed at midnight. So I rented another one-day rental. There were places open. And brought the car back the next day to pick up my original rental. All of that is to get to this part of the story. And maybe the universe has a crazy sense of humor, and this is why it happened. So I went to the counter. There's no one there. I walked straight up to the counter, and there is Isabella sitting across the counter from me. I said, "You look like you might be bored." And she went, "I'm more than bored." She said, "I am. This is no fun." I said, "Great. I'm here to be fun in your day." Well, Isabella was great. We laughed, we giggled. She said, I can, for very little money, I can upgrade you to this Jeep Rubicon. And I said, I can't. And she said, "What do you mean you can't?" And I said, "I've come to visit a friend who just bought a brand new Jeep Rubicon." She went, "Oh, honey, you can't have that car. You would be back here tomorrow and going home." When I finished, she said, "Hey, there'll be a little survey. My name is Isabella." And so for the first time in my life, I wrote this glowing review of a person working at the counter at the rental car company. She made my day. Now, if I had landed on time, I would have picked up the car the night before. I'm sure that Isabella wasn't working. I wouldn't have met her. On the way out, I stopped to do the little checkout. And there's this lovely man who is almost as nice as Isabella. And again, I thought, oh, I was supposed to meet these people. No, I would not elect to spend 12 hours doing a 4-hour trip again. But if I was going to, I would like for Isabella to be there. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I got a new day down in my soul. I got a new day down in my soul. I got a new day down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. I love the silence down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. Oh, yes, it is. And the whole wide world is my home. Reverend Gayle, she's got the answers. Reverend Gayle, she's gonna tell us those answers. Reverend Gayle, you can clap now, is coming my way. Reverend Gayle is here.
You're amazing.
That last part wasn't in the song. I didn't happen to find a song with Reverend Gayle in it.
And I was going to say, while I was sitting over there, we may not be talking about embracing your sexuality, but that song, yeah, just gets all your energy going, Tom. All your energy in your body going. So yes, if you read my blog, you will know that when I came to week 10 and saw Embrace Your Sexuality, I went, I'm not doing that on Sunday. And I know there are ministers, Tom said I would have done it, and he probably would have done an excellent job. You have to be comfortable when you're up here speaking. And I was like, I just don't want to do that. So then I was going to do Embrace Your Creativity because it's the same energy force. And I realized that I was getting up at 2:00 in the morning on Friday to get here to meet with a family that I was doing a memorial service for on Saturday. And I thought, I'm not going to have the headspace to really think and practice my talk. So that's why we're going to do Ask Me Anything almost. And by the way, you're beautiful. And so are you people online. And my questions are, here he comes. Thank you, Chris. Anybody else? Don't be shy. Tom, I don't know. You may have to call out some of. Oh, people wrote little notes on the outside too. Okay. What is the status of, I knew I was going to get this. Thank you. What is the status of hiring our new minister? All the visioning we did seems to be gone. Okay, first I'm going to start with the bottom statement. Visioning is never gone. Once you've visioned, it's out there in the divine space. It never goes away, just so you know. Where your new minister is, I believe, and I talked to Reverend Nan Bancroft, who is my boss, if you will, at headquarters. She heads up global services, so she's responsible for the interim ministers. And I write her a monthly report. And when I reported on the month of May, I said there has been such an absolute energy shift at Light on the Mountains. They are now ready energetically to call in a new minister. And I want you to know why that energy took a while. You have to understand what your original, what the board that was responsible once Reverend John left, the board that was in place had a lot of things to do that required keeping the doors open, a new roof, redoing things that our insurance company said needed to be done or they weren't going to give us insurance. So all of those things are highly important. And all of those things, if you've done it in your home, suck the energy right out of you, right? Those are the to-dos. And now, based on that board, and some of those members are still on this board, some of them have left, like Manon and Carol and Kelly. So thank you so much, because that was an important piece. And I know that when I came in, that was the end of your term anyway. Some of you had served longer than they were supposed to. So your posting is out there. It has been out there. It was redesigned, rewritten. It's been out there since February. And it was posted with we were going to leave it open until December 31st. And then it dawned on me, human nature is we're going to put our application in right before closing. We don't want it to be there too early. So I was like, I don't think everybody wants to wait. Ooh, bug. Sorry. For you people online, I just saw a bug fly around the sanctuary. So I believe now, we moved, not me, we moved the close date. Christine and Eric are the leaders of the selection committee. We moved the close date to August, and I believe you're going to have an abundance of applications in August. I have put out there that I think you will probably have a new minister by October, if not November. So that's what I would like you all to visualize, because it's not just the selection committee who is starting to meet again monthly, and they will do visioning as a team. And it's not just about them holding the energy. We all have to be that container of inviting in someone new. So does that answer everybody's question about the new minister? Okay.
No.
No.
Can we be a Centers for Spiritual Living without a full-time minister?
No. Oh, you can have a part-time minister, but no.
Okay.
Yeah. You can downgrade, but then you lose some of the things like where the endowment, you have to be a Center for Spiritual Living.
Okay.
So. Oh, tiny print. Hang on a minute. At least I brought him up here with me. Okay. Science is truth, provable, and repeatable. Thank you. What role does God, an unproven idea, have in science of mind? So luckily, I'm going to quote Ernest Holmes. I did bring a cheat sheet. Ernest Holmes' definition of religious science. It is a compilation of the opinions of philosophy, the laws of science, and the revelations of religion applied to the aspirations of people. So to me, what that means, and understand when I answer these questions, these are my opinions. That's the great thing about the science of mind, about this philosophy that we teach, is that each one of us can have our own idea about it. And if it works for you, then that's perfection. So if you disagree with me, that's okay. If I disagree with you, that's okay. Ernest Holmes said we are open at the top, which means we get to embrace this philosophy at the level that we are comfortable embracing it. And so how it works is, one other quote he had, and I'm not doing the quote, obviously, I'm morphing it into how I remember it, is that it is, and I think also probably about Bob Proctor, it is provable, because if one person does it and it works, then it works for all of us. Does that make sense? And in science, things need to be provable. So, for instance, if I know that in my mind, and there have been people that have doubted me, but here's what I'm going to say, and then if it doesn't work, I must have believed them more than I believe the power of my mind. I believe when I come back in July, I will be walking in my tennis shoes. Most people who have had an Achilles heel injury have said, no, you won't. It's going to be September. And I'm like, watch me. Because my doctor has said I'll be in a tennis shoe in in July. And so has my physical therapist. And I'm going with them, and I'm surrounded by practitioners that will know that truth with me. So does that answer the question, sort of? It's not yours. Well, you knew what the word I was trying to say, so. Does that answer the question? You don't have to answer, but does anybody have a question on top of that one? Okay. What's our footprint in the world? And I can't read that. I should just leave these on, shouldn't I? International countries. Okay, that's bigger than my brain. I do know that we are in Ukraine. We are in Russia. We are in Mexico. Practitioners, if you know any other countries or anybody else. So we are worldwide. Do we need to be bigger? In my opinion, yes. And I believe that this is a touchy subject for me, because I believe we are not vocal enough about who we are and what we teach. And I think that is from the top down. When I go online and it asks me, if I fill out a form and it says, what religion are you? And it asks me, it asks me all the conventional ones. And then it says unity, Scientology, no religious science. And so that's on us. That's on us to claim who we are, what we teach, and what we believe. Anne, go ahead.
Bob Grabowski, he did that.
Yes.
He went to Russia. He started in Mexico and then he went to Russia, and he did a wonderful job.
Yeah, and they're still building on that.
Good.
I even however, I believe even in this country, we could be much bigger. Right? We could be much bigger, because there are a lot of people looking for what we teach. They want the space to believe what they believe and be comfortable with being accepted for who they are. And that's what we teach, a world that works for everybody or everyone. So,
Gayle,
Yes, sir.
Everybody needs a sidekick. I'll give you a little internet update.
Yes.
And looking up what countries have science of mind. The United States and Canada founded in the United States, and it's where it's the largest. But there are also chapters or gatherings in the United Kingdom, in Switzerland, in Australia, in South Africa, and in Japan, and in Russia, Ukraine, and that whole area as well.
Thank you. Yay. Yeah, perfect.
See, I feel like I should play music while you pull the next question.
While I'm driving. What is one of your favorite teachings in, of, or from Science of Mind, and why? This philosophy changed my life. And so one of my favorite teachings is the fact that I don't have to be who I was yesterday if I choose not to be. That I really have the power of my thought and my belief to be who I've come here to be. And it took me 50 years to find this philosophy. And I remember when I still struggled with realizing that the divine, God, is in and through and as everything. So it is in and through and as me. And my minister said to me one day, because, we teach that it's infinite, it's everywhere. And I struggled with that. And she said, so what makes you so special? And I was like, what? I didn't say I was special. I said I was damaged. She said, what makes you think God doesn't love damaged? Get yourself in the circle because you can't be out of it. And so for me, and then my favorite book, I love this thing called You, but the book that really spoke to me at that time in my life is Can We Talk to God? And in it, again, not an exact quote, in it somewhere, somebody had asked Ernest Holmes, do you think you have the next great religion? And he said, no. I think I have something that really works for me. And if it works for other people, great. What I want them to do is not believe what I believe. I want them to read what I read and then make up their own mind. That's the foundation of who we are. How powerful is that? What is holding me back? And I would assume they're not saying me. I let that train go. And that's a tough one, isn't it? Fear is holding you back. Fear that you're not good enough. Fear that somebody could do it better than you. Fear that life has shortchanged you somehow. And so what I would say is start to believe, like I had to, you're in that circle. You're God in form, and God doesn't make mistakes. And so whatever fear you have has been impressed upon you by your parents, your teachers, your relatives, people in your life, TV, magazines. Come on, women, remember when we were all supposed to look like Barbie? And if Barbie was human, she couldn't walk, evidently. But that was our model, right? As little girls, all had to look like Barbie and have, I don't know about Ken if he was full porn, but anyway. So to really come to the place of saying to yourself every day that there is a part of me, whether you call it your soul or energy or whatever, there is a part of me that is absolutely perfect, whole and complete. And it goes on forever and ever and ever because it's part of the divine. And so when you're living here, to remember you're never alone. There is that within you that is connected to the all. And so if you can just tap into that, and it's not easy. You know, I'm staying with Jan this month, and I was talking to Cynthia last night, and it turns out we're both reading a book called No Bad Parts. And he talks about how we are born of pure light. When we're born, we are absolutely connected. And then based on information we are given the whole time we're growing up, we separate because we believe that that divine light can't protect us for whatever reason. And we separate and we start to create these individual parts to protect us. And until you start to talk to those parts and bring them back into the light, then they're going to drive the bus when you get upset, right? Or when you, when something happens in your life that, you know, negative Nellie's going to run to the front of the bus and say, let me drive. And all you have to do is turn around and say, you know what? I got this. And thanks. You know, what is it that you need? I journal to my parts. And the first thing I say is, by the way, do you know we're 74 now? So, you know, my 5-year-old, I love you. And, you know, and then I'll ask questions with my right hand and journal with my left. So there's lots of practices. And if you want a deeper answer to that question, talk to me after service, and I'd love to give you some practices that I've used. I started with Louise Hay practice of looking in a mirror, in every mirror you pass, not just when you go to the bathroom and look in the mirror. Look at the mirror and say, I love you and your name. And if you're like me, when I first started, it's I love you, Gayle. And I'd look away from the mirror. So rear view mirror, I love you, Gayle. And just start telling yourself, I love you. Because if you can't love yourself, right? Have to love yourself. That's important.
Rev Gayle,
Yes?
I don't get too far ahead of us, but it's possible there may be a class this fall that will address some of those issues.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we'll confirm that.
Okay. Okay. I'm not sure that I can answer this or discuss this. Transformational vision plus being human. So I'm going to think that possibly, and I might be wrong, that am I human and divine at the same time? Anybody? Yeah? Yes, you are. So there is that, you know, we have come here, or I believe, remember, these are my beliefs. I believe that we belong to a soul family, and there's lots of soul families out there. And the fact that we've all met now, we must be in the same soul family, which is fun. I love that. And we choose to come here, my belief. And when we choose to come here, then that spirit, that part of me that always has been, always will be, then chooses to incarnate in this human body. Then I get to be human. The opportunity is to remember I am a spiritual being having a human experience, not a human being having a spiritual experience. Spiritual first. I am a spiritual being. This is the path I have chosen to walk to have this experience as God in form. And so to be both and to really tap into the spiritual side of yourself more often and to hold that grace for yourself. So I'm not sure that I discussed that the way it was intended. Hope I did. Okay. Yes.
When you said, I choose to come here,
Uh-huh. That's my belief.
you're saying rather than light on the mountains.
Yes.
I choose to come.
I
to
choose to
earth
come to
as a
earth.
human.
And so when you start to believe that, then you have to ask yourself, oh, why now? When you look at the world around you. So my belief is, especially for all of you sitting here, because we're light beings and we're bringing light to everybody is. And your consciousness right now is important to remember that we are here to recognize and to love everybody. Everybody, right? Because when you put somebody, you don't have to hang out with everybody. I get that. But to know that when I look at an ex-husband, I can say, and there too is the power and presence of God. Don't walk through the doors at Light in the Mountains. You don't belong here. However, there too is the power and presence of God. And to love that person, because people that feel separate act out. And so because of what we believe, it's our responsibility, I believe, to pull those people in, not physically. But when you see somebody that upsets you, instead of looking at why they upset you, just send them some love and light, right? So you can change energy. How many of you know that you can absolutely do that, right? And so when you walk into the room and everybody's, all you have to do is say, I'm not going to scream into the mic, good morning. Everybody's little cells are going to start to vibrate, right? So you can change energy. And I think it's our responsibility to bring in the love when there's so much disconnect and chaos in the world, to pull everybody back in. Okay. Same question. Why is it taking so long to get a minister? The answer to that is you have to be energetically ready for people out there to feel that energy and go, oh, I'm going to look at open pulpits. Ooh, because energy is real, I believe. It's more than just, even on a Zoom call, it's more than just looking on a screen. There's energy there. So the second part of this is, do we have enough money? Yes, and. When somebody applies, and they will, when their contract comes into discussion, and it will, then what I know to be true is that the community or members of this community will do things to make that happen. So, is there enough money right now if somebody came in and said, I want this much money, period, and there's no negotiation, and no, because a contract is negotiation. How many of you gone through contracts? This is the business side of this very spiritual community. So, but there are things that can be done to yes, bring a minister in here and pay them a livable salary based on things that we could find for them, like housing. Let me know if I'm going too long. When you are feeling a bit challenged, what or who is a person or a quote that you turn to? I have prayer partners. I have a prayer partner on Sunday morning. I have a prayer partner on Thursday morning. I have a prayer partner on Friday afternoon. And I have a prayer partner I meet with every other month. I highly recommend that. We have the ministry of prayer that if you don't get the newsletter, sign up for it. And if you don't get the newsletter and don't want it, then prayers at lightonthemountains.org. You can send a prayer request. You can do that 24/7. You don't have to wait till Wednesday. Yeah, you don't have to wait till Wednesday. And so there's that. There is now the text message capability where you can text out. That happened this week. We had 2 people. We had a prayer for Mara, and then we had a prayer for Sam. And both prayers have been answered. So it's fabulous that this works. My favorite quote. There's so many Ernest Holmes quotes. I think the one, it's the one that everybody knows, and it's overused, and and it becomes a little like cliche unless you really think about doing it. And that's change your thinking, change your life. And if you use that every day, I can change my thinking and I can change my life. And I am living proof that that is so. And what I realized is after talking to Angie and Marcia last night, I'm dang lucky to be alive. So, and I did it by changing my thinking and changing my life. So this philosophy works. That's why it's important to me. That's why I am passionate about it, because I know that it works. I'm living, breathing truth that it works. Oops, not supposed to flip them over, Gail.
Hold on. I have an answer to centers.
Oh, he already did that. Around the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He Googled it.
Oh,
Yeah. Thank you.
you got the Philippines, Kenya, Congo.
Yeah. Oh, that's more. Oh, thank you, Heidi. I didn't realize it was more. Since science of mind is a compilation of philosophies, why do we refer to Ernest Holmes so much rather than the other sources? Because he's the one that compiled the philosophies and created religious science. So that's why we refer to him, because he created this philosophy that, yes, I remember taking a Buddhism class in ministerial school and thinking, wow, that's just like what we teach. And then I had to giggle because, you know, they've been around 2,000 years or something. And we were founded in the late 1800s. So I think they probably, Ernest probably read them. They probably didn't read us, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's why we refer to him. And we also let everybody know that we are a compilation of other philosophies. Okay. What is my favorite meal? Details, please. Okay. Okay. My favorite meal is a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream sitting next to my husband, and he has his own pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, watching Seahawks football, Mariners baseball, or hopefully someday Sonics basketball.
Yeah, but what flavor?
Oh, it has to be espresso.
Yeah.
And
Hubby,
who?
chubby hubby.
No. What is? I have not had Chubby Hubby. Trader Joe's has a really good espresso ice cream. And when we moved to Bellingham, my husband did a search for the best espresso milkshakes in all of Bellingham. Found 5. We've been to 1 because we found the best. First stop. It's probably 2-minute drive from our house. And with his chemotherapy right now, he can't do it the first week after chemo because he's got neuropathy. And if he eats anything cold, his throat closes up, or if he touches anything cold. So the minute he's done with the neuropathy, guess what we do? We go have espresso milkshakes. Am I one more? Close? One more? All right. Oh, this one has a smiley face on it, so. Why are you not talking about sex today? Well, because I don't want to offend anybody, really. And I wouldn't be offended if I sat down on a Sunday morning and a minister talked about sex. However, I know some people would be like, what is going on? And so I didn't want people to feel uncomfortable. I wanted people to feel connected. I wanted people to have questions that I thought maybe we had or had not answered, like, when's our new minister coming? I want you to all visualize October or November. I'm not happy about leaving. So, and it's my responsibility to visualize your next minister here. So I'm on board with you. and I'll come visit, I promise. Maybe they'll even ask me back to speak sometime. Who knows? So with that, I will close with a prayer. So just so you know, that was one of my biggest fears. I'd never done it before. So thank you for being responsive and supportive and laughing sometimes. And so as we breathe in together, we breathe in that divine energy, that one. It's over us, around us, through us, as us. It is that thing itself. The joy, the compassion, the love that is the truth of who we are. And because I know it is in and through and as all things everywhere, it's got to be within me, and it's got to be within you. And it is within everything everywhere. Ernest Holmes used to say to kids, there's not a spot that God is not. And that is true. It's in nature, it's in our animals, it's in everything we look at, see, breathe. It is the truth of who we are at the very core of our centeredness. And so what I speak my word today is the knowingness that each of us carries within us, that light, that divine light that knows only love. And when and if we ever feel separate, we reach out to somebody, whether it's a practitioner or a minister or a dear friend, or whether it's an email or a text message, we allow ourselves the courage to reach out and say, let me know that I am one, for that is the truth of who we are. I am so blessed and so grateful to be part of this community until I'm not. I give great thanks for the joy and all the love that this community has and all the energy they bring to this building every single Sunday. With that, I release these words into the law. I know as it is spoken, it is done. And with that, together we say, and so it is.
You know, when I sit here and listen to Tom and RL and Reverend Gayle, I just want to drink this up. I want it to be part of every cell of my being, because we are given an opportunity to really put legs on our faith and take it out into our lives and into the world as beacons of light. And I am so grateful for that. So thank you all for your part. As Reverend Gayle said, we're building our coffers for our perfect minister, and that means that we invite you to support us financially, not just energetically, but also financially. There are a lot of ways that you can give, whether it's online, we'll pass the basket, in person, by mail. And we're working also on creating an opportunity for you to give gifts in tribute, memory, or in honor of somebody. So please support us generously. This is another way that you can share in the ownership of this special place. In your brochure announcements, there is an offertory affirmation, if you will join in reading that with me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal, bless, and prosper. It is evidence of my faith, gratitude, and belief. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And as we pass the basket, I invite you to hear one more gift from RL.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings. And with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The season you live is found in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, yeah. Amazing. You will do amazing things. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Sometimes deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You do amazing things. You do amazing things.
Thank you. Thank you for these gifts. Thank you for this amazing Sunday. We receive these gifts as a demonstration of the law of circulation that operates in, through, and around each of our lives for the greater good of all. This turns our vision for our community into a reality. The love of Spirit blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive abundantly. Together we say, and so it is. I will be available for support in the office across from the first restroom here. If anybody would like some treatment or prayer, and if there's a long line, there's a few other practitioners here who will be able to step in. Oh, whose birthday? Lee's birthday? Yay, happy birthday. Let's do it.
We ought to sing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lee. Happy birthday to you. The rest of us are also, of course, invited to find the delicious food and drinks that are in the social garage, and I thought we could tie them all together. Thank you for being a part of the energy and the magic that made this day what it is, and that will continue to do so. I didn't know that Tom was going to give us a list of yeses in his reading this morning, but I thought we might conclude our time together on page 6 by singing yes. Stand if that's good for you. Stay seated if that's better for you. Page 6. I say yes to my life. I say yes to love. I say yes to the one world family. I say yes to the planet at peace. I say yes to all the children everywhere. I say yes to us. I want my next act to increase the yes in the world. I say yes to my life. I say yes to love. I say yes to one family, to the planet at peace. I say yes to all the children everywhere. I say yes to us. I want my next act to increase the yes in the world. Oh, it's great. So, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.